And I really like that part. 少林功夫好诶，金底好啊。
Hey everybody, I'm Nick. I'm a director living in Taiwan, and today I'm joined once again by Sonia.
Hi everyone, I'm Sonia.
And I have Sonia with me today because she is a Stephen Zhou scholar. And Stephen Zhou is a comedic actor from Hong Kong who we'll be talking about today. So, Stephen Zhou is from Hong Kong. He's filmed a ton of movies. He's a comedic actor, but he's very, very popular in Taiwan, right?
Yeah.
So why is that?
Because on cable TV we watch all the time. I think they don't have other things can play, so they just always play Stephen Zhou over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he has a lot of movies.
Yeah, he has over 60 movies.
So they never end.
Yeah, and they replay like all of his movies, and the cool thing about Stephen Zhou movies is that he's a comedic actor, but he makes comedy movies in all these different genres. So like there'll be like a comedy kung fu movie, or a comedy sports movie, or a comedy gambling movie, or a comedy romance. Like all these different genres of movies. So it's like any kind of movie you like, then you can watch it with Stephen Zhou in it,
right?
And it's funny,
right?
And interesting fact about him is that Quentin Tarantino said that he's the best living actor in his opinion.
Yeah.
And I think it's true because he can do like dramatic things in his movies. His movies are always like a little bit funny but a little bit dramatic.
Yeah.
And he does all different kinds of comedy. He does like Charlie Chaplin kind, like very physical, but he also can do like the more like one-liner kind of like telling jokes, or also like he can do like a character thing like a Bill Murray kind of like he's like the arrogant asshole kind of guy.
Yeah.
What we're gonna do today is we're gonna do a tier list.
Okay.
So we're gonna rate his movies, not all of them because he has 60. This is part one. We're gonna rate them from S, which is super awesome, and A, B, C, D to F.
Why no E?
E is just we do A, B, C, D, F in school, right? For grades.
Yeah.
Like you get an F, but you could get an E.
Right. That's I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why. That doesn't make sense. Write in the comments why we don't have E. I guess when I was in kindergarten, E meant we use E for excellent. There was no A. So we're going to go through some of his movies. So the first one we're going to discuss is Flirting Scholar.
唐伯虎点秋香.
So this movie is the one that's on TV, I see on TV the most.
Yeah.
And it's about, he plays a kind of like a poet, a famous poet in ancient China. This is the ancient China genre. And he wants to find a wife who loves him for him, not because he's famous. So he pretends to be like just like a regular guy. And he joins a house and he falls in love with Gong Li, who's really beautiful, who's in love with his poetry.
And other talent.
And his other talents, but she doesn't know that he's him.
Yeah.
And so he has to convince her to fall in love with him, even though she thinks he's like a loser.
Right.
Yeah, and like her family doesn't want her to marry him either because they want her to marry like a rich, good guy. So what's your favorite part?
My favorite part will be the story is just fun.
Yeah.
Like he has a lot of wives, but they all play mahjong.
Oh, right, I forgot that part. That part's really funny.
Yeah, I like that part.
And they all like kind of don't like him, right? Like he has like
Right.
a bunch of wives and they're always just gambling and stuff.
Yeah, and his wife just using his like a painting be a
the mahjong
put on the table, and also he's like I don't know, his stuff just can become the like gambling thing.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, there's so many good parts of his movies where they like you forget that it's in the movie, and then when you remember it, it's like
Yeah.
Yeah. So this movie, what do you think? What tier?
I'll say ace.
S. Yeah, I think S because this one is like maybe the most famous one. I would recommend it be the first Stephen Zhou movie you watch if you've never seen any.
Right, I think so.
Okay, next one is Love on Delivery.
破坏之王.
So this one is about a delivery boy who falls in love with a girl that does judo.
Yeah.
And so because she's like really strong and like all these like strong guys want to be with her, he wants to be like learn martial arts and learn kung fu so that he can impress her.
Yeah, can be the stronger one.
Yeah, and then he ends up learning kung fu and saving her from an attack, but he's wearing a Garfield mask.
Right.
So she doesn't know it's him, and then the movie is like him trying to convince the girl that he's the one who saved her. And I think my favorite part of the movie is when everybody, because she's like the cute girl in the town, like everybody puts on a Garfield mask and like chases her down the street.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to pretend like they were the one who did it, who saved her. Pretty good.
Right.
What would you rate this one?
I would say B or C.
B or C?
Yeah, because this one's not my favorite one. And in this movie, I don't think there is that much things that you can remember.
Although the fight scene at the end is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Where he turns his back during the whole round of the fight. Yeah, that one. I'll say C. Let's go C. Okay, next one is From Beijing with Love.
国产007.
So this is Lingling Cheese 007, and so this is like a 007 parody movie, and it's basically he's like a secret agent from China, and he comes to Hong Kong to investigate a stolen dinosaur bones, I think.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't really remember.
The plots of the movies actually don't matter that much.
Yeah.
But like the funny part of the movie is that he has all these like bad gadgets that don't do anything because he's like a crappy secret agent.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is when he has the shoe that's a 吹风机.
Right.
And then he has a hair dryer that is a razor.
Right.
And then a razor that's a hair dryer.
And I like it. Like he in this movie is really like a kind of like a weaker person. Not that strong. So everyone thinks he's useless.
Right.
But actually, he's really good at something like a knife thing.
Knife throwing knives.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a cool thing of his movies is he's not afraid to play like the total loser.
Yeah, and he's look dumb in the movie, but actually he's smart.
Yeah. So what's the rating for this one?
C?
I think C. Yeah, it has some really funny parts in it, but only a couple, I think.
Yeah, and the whole story not really makes sense.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. There's like the plot of the movie doesn't really make a lot of sense. Next movie is two movies, but I'm gonna combine them into one because they actually are kind of one movie. Chinese Odyssey Part 1 and Part 2. What is the Chinese for this?
西游记. Oh, it's too long.
Try.
But sure it's 西游记, which is the one we will say 月光宝盒. The two we will say 仙侣奇缘. But they both 西游记, like the Monkey King story.
Okay. So this is another one in ancient China, and it's a very famous old Chinese story about the Monkey King. And it's basically like, it's two parts because it's really long. It's like the whole story of the Monkey King, and it goes back and forth in time and like
too many times.
forward in time. And, yeah, it's very weird. But the Monkey King, I feel like, is Stephen Zhou, like a character that he, like when you think of the Monkey King, you think of Stephen Zhou.
If we think about him.
Yeah. What do you think of the rating for this one?
This show?
Yeah.
I think it's good.
B?
B maybe.
Yeah, I think a B.
Yeah.
It's really epic too. Like watching the whole thing is pretty. That's a good chunk of time. It's like 4 hours of fun. Like I think this is one of the ones where he's becoming more emotional.
Yeah.
Like it's not as much straight comedy, and he adds in like a lot of touching things in it. Yeah. Next one, Forbidden City Cop.
大内密探008.
So this one is he plays a cop in the Forbidden City, ancient China.
Yeah.
And everybody knows kung fu, but he doesn't. He invents like weird inventions to help him to fight people.
Yeah.
Like a giant fan and weird stuff like that. And
It's 007.
it's kind of the same as From Beijing with Love, yeah.
Yeah, it's 007. Because 008, the 5 means I think it's 8. 008.
Oh, okay.
It's the
So
next
he's
one.
008. But he's in the old times. Yeah, that doesn't really make sense though.
It's fine.
But this one, I really like it because of the relationship. He has a really good relationship with his wife in the movie. And that's an actress. What's her name?
刘嘉玲.
And her and him, their chemistry is like really good. And their whole relationship is like actually also very touching. Like there's one part in the movie where, kind of embarrassing, but I almost cried at the end of this movie.
Yeah, the end was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I won't spoil it, but
And
the end of the movie is very
as
good.
a modern thing in the old times.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of the rating for this one?
B?
B? Yeah, I think B. It would be a C because it's kind of weird, but I think the relationship brings it up to B. So the next one that we're going to talk about is the god of cookery.
食神.
So this one is another like really famous Stephen Zhou movie. It could be like everybody in Taiwan knows this one, I think.
Yeah.
And like this is the one that I hear quoted a lot by people.
Right.
And so it's about a arrogant chef who's really really good at cooking, but then he loses all his money and he has to like go back and relearn and like get his fortune back. And it's cool because they treat cooking a lot like a kung fu movie.
Yeah.
So like cooking is like kung fu, and he even goes to the Shaolin temple to relearn how to like.
But
be
actually,
the
it's a kitchen.
The Shaolin
kitchen.
Yeah, so it's really funny. It's really very unique and like cool idea.
Yeah.
And
I think the Mo Wenwei.
Mo Wenwei.
She was the big part inside.
Oh, a famous
ugly
actress.
And become
Right.
beautiful. That one. I think I really like that part.
Yeah, so they have the actress who is actually like a really famous, very beautiful actress, but they dress her up like very like ugly, and everybody makes fun of her for being ugly. And then in the end, she's revealed to be like this beautiful woman.
Right.
Okay, what's our rating for that?
S or A?
S or A? I think I want to say we have too many S's, but I can't.
Too many, just one.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess we should give it S because it really does deserve an S, I think.
Because it is really classic one.
Yeah. Okay, S. Let's give it S tier. All right. King of comedy.
喜剧之王.
So this movie is about Stephen Zhou is playing an extra. He wants to be a famous actor, but he's always an extra in movies, and he's like in all these different movies as an extra, and he always he's bad at it though, right? He never gets like a good part. He always gets fired from his job, and then eventually he becomes like an undercover cop because he's an actor, and he has to be an undercover cop, and then it turns into like a gangster movie. So it's kind of weird. It's a kind of weird one. Do you remember anything from this movie?
I think I have a mixed memories.
Yeah.
I feel like there's the other one, like this one, or this is the one I'm thinking.
Well, so this is kind of funny because like this is the thing about Stephen Zhou movies is that there's so many that a lot of the times you mix them up, like which one is which. Like you don't know which one's which because like you've seen so many and then it's the same actor, right? And then some of the plots are kind of the same, so they kind of blend together. And I think this one's not that memorable. There's no like part of it where you're like, oh yeah, that movie, I love that part.
So what part you remember?
So I'm not actually sure if it's from this movie, but there's a part where he's undercover as a cop, and then he like has to go into the gangster's place and pretend that he's like delivering food, but then he says the wrong thing. And gives away the whole thing. I think. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, it's not that memorable, so I would say this one is actually like a D tier.
Yeah, maybe.
D?
Maybe D.
Yeah. All right. Next, Shaolin soccer.
少林足球.
So this is another like kung fu. They make it like a kung fu movie, but it's soccer this time.
Yes.
And it's a kung fu master who's really good with his leg. So that's why he can play soccer.
Yeah, I would say 金刚腿.
The golden leg.
Golden.
Golden leg.
Yeah, maybe. 金刚腿.
Yeah, and
King Kong.
King Kong leg. And then all of his brothers from the Shaolin Temple, they're all good at different parts.
Yeah.
Like, there's what?
One with the head.
金刚头.
No, 铁头功.
铁头功.
你是铁头功，我是金刚腿. And I really like that part. 少林功夫好诶，金地好啊.
Yeah, so there's like they sing in it. I think this movie is so good because they take soccer and they turn it into kung fu, and like it's very exciting. Like it's like a sports movie, but it's also really funny. They have a lot of really weird, funny things.
Yeah, and there's the other girl, ugly turned beautiful.
Oh yeah. So there's like a lot of things that they recycle in the movies.
Yeah,
I'm realizing like this idea of like the ugly girl that becomes beautiful again.
Yeah.
So this one again, I think we got to give it S.
S or A.
What do you think, A or S? For me, it's S because this is the first Stephen Zhou movie that I saw.
Okay. I think it can be S. S.
Okay, the next one is Kung Fu Hustle.
Gong Fu.
Kung Fu. So this is the first Stephen Zhou movie that really made it to America, and it played. I think so. A lot of people maybe have seen this one. This is set in Shanghai, and it's basically about like a guy who wants to be a gangster. He wants to join a gang, and so then the gang tries to get him to go to this like apartment complex and kick out and beat up all the residents and kick them out.
Yeah.
So that the gang can take over the area. But he's like not good at Kung Fu, and then he has to learn how to be good at Kung Fu.
And also he has a kind heart.
Right. He doesn't want to be a bad guy, really.
He wants to be like a scary guy, but in the end he cannot because he's
a good person. So then he ends up siding with the good people and getting rid of the gang with them.
Yeah.
This one is I love the part of this movie where he's throwing the knives. So like he's trying to get rid of the people and he's throwing knives at them, but then they bounce off the wall and hit back into him.
Like as usual, he was like stupid and
stupid and can't do anything. And it's like this one I think is one of the best ones for like his physical comedy. Like he does a lot of physical funny things. And it also has some really sad, touching parts, like when like the flashback to when he's a kid.
Yeah.
This movie I think is very iconic, very good, but I think it's maybe more of like an A tier, not S.
Yeah, it can be A.
Yeah.
A.
The CJ7.
长江七号.
So this one, he is acting not as the main part. He's the father in the movie, and the main part is his
kid.
daughter, son.
No, son.
Son. It's played by a girl though.
Right.
So his son, and it's about they're a poor family, and the dad always finds stuff from the trash for the son, and then he finds an alien to give to the son, and the alien can do anything, I guess.
He found an alien?
Yeah, he finds an alien in the trash.
Really?
I think.
I
might be
forgot that
confusing.
part.
Yeah, and I actually haven't seen the whole movie.
I remember he found shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
this one is very forgettable.
It's not that interesting to me.
It's really a kid's movie.
I don't know.
So this one I think is another D.
Yeah, it can be D.
D tier movie. Right. Okay, so now we have Journey to the West, Conquering the Demons. This is the first Stephen Zhou movie that he directed and he's not in anymore.
Yeah, and this one is also 西游降魔篇.
So it's connected to the the Monkey King story, right?
Yeah.
It's about a monk who fights demons, and then he meets another girl who fights demons, who's played by Suchi.
Yeah.
And she's actually very good in the movie. And she's the reason I think the movie actually is pretty good. And I saw this one and I thought I wasn't gonna like it because it seems kind of stupid, but actually it's pretty good. It's really, really violent too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff, and it's as far as like movies that I see, a lot of movies coming out of China right now, like this big budget movies that I see. This one is one of the ones that I enjoyed the most because has the Stephen Zhou humor. It's funny. It's very like weird. And it has really, really bad CGI, like really bad. but at least like it kind of is like part of the joke, I think, almost.
Yeah.
Like he mixes it well with the movie, like that the CGI is so weird and bad.
But
Kung
this
Fu Hustle
one,
is like that too.
It's kind of sad and disappointing me because I really want to see Stephen Zhou in the movie. I always want to see him in the movie. But this is the first one because I was excited. Maybe he will in the movie. Some part of that? No.
Yeah, well,
no.
Yeah, well, like the Monkey King. So the Monkey King is usually played by him, but it's not. He's not it. And like I feel like he should have just, when the guy turns into the Monkey King, it should have been him, right?
I think he doesn't want to play anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't want to act anymore.
Yeah,
I think he's done. Yeah, he's like, no, I'm too old.
Yeah, there are other things to do.
I kind of liked it though. Like, if it wasn't a Stephen Zhou movie, I would give it a higher rating. But because it's a Stephen Zhou movie and he's not in it, and it kind of gets a lower one. But what do you think?
D.
So the next one he directed that he's not in, called The Mermaid.
美人鱼.
And so this movie is about a mermaid that's also like a monster. And I actually don't really know what happens in it because I fell asleep.
Yeah, I only remember the part that the police officer guy drawing the mermaid pictures was really stupid, really dumb.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like, look like that or like that, but it's just like weird mermaid pictures.
Yeah. I think the reason this one really doesn't work because even though Stephen Zhou's not in the other Journey to the West one, but Suchi is, and she's a really good actress. But this one doesn't have an actor that really understands Stephen Zhou's humor. Like they don't do it in the right way. I feel like.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. It ends up being just super weird and not funny at all, and not even not interesting. And the CGI again is very, very bad. Yeah, for this is F. Like, even as a regular movie, I would give this an F.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair.
All right, and the new king of comedy.
新喜剧之王.
So this is kind of like a redo sequel to The King of Comedy, but this one has a woman playing the part instead of Stephen Zhou, and it's about like a woman who wants to be an actress, and she's in a lot of movies, but then everybody treats her really bad in the film industry, makes fun of her, calls her ugly.
So bad.
Yeah,
treat her so
really bad. And as somebody who's trying to make it in the film industry, this movie really actually touched me a lot. It made me feel a lot of things because it's like kind of like how hard it is to try to follow your dream, and everybody's always telling her, oh, you should quit, you're so bad, you're so ugly, you can't do it, you'll never make it. Her family is like nice to her, but they don't think she can make it. Nobody believes in her. Yeah, and so I really like that part of the movie.
Yeah, I like that part. So it's kind of sad movie, but it's fun.
It has his comedy in it too. And this one, I like this movie a lot because I think it reveals how much Stephen Zhou like actually hates the movie industry.
Maybe.
I feel like for me, that's what I got out of the movie because like he makes like the director like a total asshole, and he makes the actor like a total idiot. Like the star actor is like a total idiot.
Yes.
and like I feel like he's just trying to say like the movie industry is like a terrible thing that ruins people's lives.
But you gotta go for it because that's your dream.
Yeah. So I like this one actually.
Yeah, I like that. Maybe
I would say
B.
C.
B, C.
C. I don't know if it's quite a B.
Okay.
I think it's C.
Okay, C.
All right, so that is our Stephen Zhou tier list. We will do a part 2 later and do the rest of his movies because there's a lot.
Yeah.
But if you like any of these movies, I would start at the top of the list and watch like the S to A tier, and then go down B if you really like Stephen Zhou. And it's a good, he's a really good actor to get into because there's so many movies you can watch.
Yes.
All right. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Comment below if you want us to talk about anything. Bye-bye.
Bye.